Thank you very much for tuning into my channel. This is Pro-Life Nova Scotia. My name is John Michael. And right, the Canadian law is flawed. Right, the Canadian law is flawed. How do we know that the administration of justice has been brought into disrepute? How do we know that the administration of justice has been brought into disrepute? Because they're disagreeing with evidence, the medical science, the embryology. They're disagreeing with the facts, the basic fundamental facts of life, which is that life is life, right? Life is life. Thou shalt not kill. They are disagreeing with thou shalt not kill. They're not even disagreeing. I mean, I don't believe any honorable, learned judges from the Canadian, justice system would disagree with thou shalt not kill. But they will, make it permissible because of this case law and all this stuff. But then when you get down to it, is it really permissible? Is it really decriminalized? And the answer, of course, is no. It can never be decriminalized. You can never decriminalize. And they go even further and suggest it's a constitutionally protected activity. It's a constitutionally protected right, but you can never have a right. You can never have a decriminalized act, right? A constitutionally protected activity. I mean, that would be contradicting. That would, in itself, be an error. And thou shalt not kill is very, very simple. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not kill. Very, very easy to understand. I mean, I do believe my 3-year-old child could understand. Don't kill. My 2-year-old child probably could understand. And my baby, right? My baby's 1-year-old. But I do have other children. But I am missing a child. And that's the point here. My child would have been about 10 years old. And is certainly not here because of abortifacient birth controls, and I'm grieving. I'm certainly grieving. All right, so what are we talking about? Is the International Tribunals for Crimes Against the Unborn. Well, that's a whole story, but I mean, could we do that? Could we? Yes. Nobody says you can't, right? Initiate a new tribunal for these types of mass. Of course, I mean, it's not only something that we should do. We must. Initiate this international tribunal for crimes against the unborn. Right? These people deserve indictments. They are dangerous, and they're killing millions and millions of people. I mean, you're just because that this type of the lawmakers, right? The lawmakers, it would require a lot of resources. But I mean, a society cannot function without this type of tribunal. We cannot function without this type of tribunal, right? There's so many people that are guilty of killing. All right, murder. I mean, I know it's fashionable and all this stuff. I don't want to hear about that. It's fashionable. It's obscene, grotesque. It's wrong. It's evil. It's a sin. Yeah, murder is wrong. So Dr. Michel Dow is certainly guilty of murdering. Right, the killing. Right, killing. Murder is a legal term. Oh yeah, but my, the Canadian judicial system doesn't recognize murder of an unborn child. Well, it's wrong. It's wrong because, the Canadian justice system doesn't agree with the basic science of, embryology. Well, it's wrong. The administration of justice has been brought into disrepute. Just right there, the administration of justice has been brought into disrepute. Right there. If that is not clear evidence to you that the administration of justice in Canada has been brought into disrepute, then I cannot help you, right? You cannot ever have trust and faith into that justice system. Never. And if the kind of stuff that they're interested in is certainly, generating revenue with traffic tickets, then it certainly is a profitable type of act. This guy, he get pulled over. I remember, I'm in a different place in a different country. I'm in a totally different country. I remember I was just driving, and all of a sudden, bloop, bloop, the police come, hey, you got this problem here that they're making up, and I say, every time the police would stop me, it would cost me at least $700 or $800, and I didn't even pay them. I still have a whole bunch of fines that I don't know, I didn't pay them, and I just left. Because why? Because, this justice system has been brought into disrepute. If the justice system has been brought into disrepute, right, the police are free to plunder innocent motorists. They're free to destroy family units. They're free to get involved in these contracts and all this stuff. they don't really investigate crimes at all. I mean, this is clearly an instance where somebody has completely lost his home. I mean, the house is on fire. Are you not going to investigate or anything? Well, was there any insurance? Yeah, I don't really believe in insurance, but I didn't have insurance because it was under construction. Yeah, we'll see what we can do. And they basically don't do anything. I lost a lot of stuff to arson, right? These arsonists coming around. Police don't help anything. My truck was stolen. Nobody did anything. And then I started to I'm not going to pay the government for killing my own child. I was just traveling peacefully, and oh no, you got to pay us. And if you don't pay us, we're going to steal your car and all this stuff. So here they come to, and they start beating me up and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, I'm not scared of you. I'm not going to pay you money to kill my child, right? You kill my child. I'm not going to pay you money. I'm going to travel if I want to. I had enough of, driving an old car, and you got to buy these old cars just to be able to travel around, which is a right. My right is to travel, freely on the road. I'm not. No, it's a privilege to drive your car. Whatever. That's a whole story in itself. But and then I'm like, well, can you prove that I have to pay you money? Anyway. But, everybody has an opinion. That opinion is that we have to pay the government for this. We have to pay the government for that. And for me to pay the government for the basic necessities of life is not something that I wanted to do. I just didn't want to do it. Pay the government for the basic necessities of life that I have to do anyways, right? So let's say, for example, and I've never got pulled over here because I'm a good driver. I drove for a long time, with no license or whatever. They didn't pull me over and beat me up. What kind of nonsense is that? You don't have the papers or whatever. They don't beat you up anywhere else in the world other than Canada. But let's say, for example, in Canada, you don't have any kind of license or whatever, right? They're gonna beat you up, put you in handcuffs, put you in a cage, and all this stuff. And then if you don't pay again, they're gonna steal your car, and then you gotta go to the towing company and all this stuff. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. The whole license thing. Well, first of all, it was never unlawful to. Well, I certainly don't recommend driving without a license in Canada. The police will certainly kick your ass. Certainly. Not really talking about that. We're talking about the fact that I didn't want to pay them because I'm not going to pay the ticket, and they're going to use that money in the system that killed my child, right? So that's the point. That's if you remember my previous video, I was driving this big old motorcycle. This motorcycle, you don't need a license plate for this because you just... I said too much because I think there's the statute of limitation is not run out on that one yet, but I'm not going to talk about that anymore. Hooey. I'm not going to pay taxes, surcharges, and fees for a government that will take the money, give it to abortionists to kill children. No way. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it at all. And if you pay the government any amount of money, they will take that money and they will kill children. You are complicit. You are complicit, 100% complicit. Let's say everybody, for example, accepted truth, law, facts, and evidence, and they would say, hey, embryology is clear. Why are you killing a baby with our taxpayer, tax revenue? Why? That's not right. We will cease. Let's say, for example, everybody ceases to pay taxes today. Right? Today. The system would crumble, and they would stop killing babies. But they're going to beat us up. They're going to beat they can't beat up everybody, but take some organization and all this stuff. It's not going to happen, right? So I'm certainly not, trying to organize a tax protest or anything like that, but certainly should, but I'm not going to because I don't care enough. Well, do I care about the children? Well, certainly do. I certainly care about the babies, right, that are being, systematically killed on an industrial scale. I mean, it would be folly not to care about them, right? It would be, these people are lunatic, psycho killers, right? They are lunatic, psycho killers, and we're just supposed to pay them and pay them and pay them to continue killing more children, right? Every single embryo is the loss of a human life. I mean, and my own aunt is complicit in this thing. So, I just never mind this video because talking about driving and all this stuff. Driving, that's the thing, right? It's a basic necessity of life. You have to go to the store to buy some food, right? It's a basic necessity of life. For your house, let's say, for example, your house, you have to live somewhere, right? Well, you have to pay the property tax, and we're going to use that property tax to pay for abortionists like Dr. Michelle Dell. Like, literally, it's like I think it's 60% of the municipal government's budget for the Clare Health Centre, which they perform MAID, which is kind of dodgy, right? Why are you not using anesthesiologists for MAID? Why? Kind of dodgy. You know, gender affirming care. Gender affirming care. You have to affirm the gender. Affirm the gender. So if I go there and say, I am a man, will they affirm my gender? Maybe. Made in IUDs and all this stuff, and medical abortions and all this stuff. So we are paying for this woke nonsense, woke ideological nonsense that I don't consent to killing, you know, babies on an industrial scale with my tax revenue. I work hard and I'm taking the risk, right? I'm taking the risk. Like, for example, this poor Joel guy, scuba diving. He died, right? He was taking a risk to try to get some money, right? To bring forth the money. And we are the ones that are making the money. And they take zero risk, and they want 100% of the reward of that. They are taking zero risk. Those municipal, that's why I have such a disdain for the Clare, you know, municipal government. And that guy, Stefan Sear, man, you know, he's so he goes and puts the LGBT flag on the parade in Clare, and now it's May, so they're going to start again in June 1st. June 1st, the festival, the Acadian festival, has the LGBT flag, and they're celebrating the gay month or whatever. I mean, what does that have to do with promoting family values? And the Acadian family is going down to the point where it's going to be zero. There's not going to be any Acadian children at all. That's what I'm trying to say. And they're so blind to that. They're so blind to that. And they say, oh, it's okay. It's a woman's right to kill her children. It's a woman's right. And it's okay for the government to promote, the destruction of the family, the family, right? Are you serious? Well, see, the consequences of that is a complete eradication, right? And I think that's what we should talk about in the next video: the complete eradication of our culture, right? And we have to be not only expecting it, but be very, very cognizant of the fact that we cannot stop it. That's a very sad video, but I think we should do that next. Let's take a break.